happy Monday, everyone. It is Monday, November the 14th. I'm Ryan Hill.
I'm John Galantis.
And you're listening to Clearview Today with Dr. Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can find us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Or if you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, things you'd like to write in to Dr. Shah and suggest that we talk about, send us a text at 252-582-5028. You can also send us an email to contact@clearviewtodayshow.com. Be sure to follow along with Dr. Shah on his blog, abadanshah.com. And you can support us financially at theclearviewtodayshow.com. There's a button there where you can donate, you can contribute to what we're doing here, and every contribution goes not only to supporting this show, but countless other ministries for the building up of the kingdom of God. And one of the most important ways you guys can do that is by keeping the conversation going on the airwaves, leaving us a good rating, a good review on iTunes or a podcasting platform, wherever you're listening to the show. Make sure you share these episodes with your friends and family. Every review, every rating really does help us. It helps shuffle that podcast to the top of iTunes playlists or anywhere you're listening, whether it's Spotify or the podcast app. Make sure you're leaving those ratings and reviews. It does help us keep the conversation alive.
Those computers think they're so smart. Those algorithms, those bots, they think they're so smart. But you can get around them. All you got to do is leave us a 5-star review. That's right. All you got to do.
That's right.
Hit them with the verse of the day.
I would be happy to. It's Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3. You will keep him in perfect peace. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you.
What was the difference?
I put a T on the end of peace, so it's pieced. You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. And boy, what a reminder for us, especially at the start of the week. So many times people are after this concept of peace, but really, if you want peace, you need to pursue the one who is peace.
That's
the
right.
Prince of Peace.
That's right.
Jesus himself.
Especially on a Monday. That's what we need to hear.
Absolutely.
I love it.
John, I know that we've been talking about coffee recently.
Yeah. I've never been, I'm new to the whole coffee snob game. I see why you do it. I like it, but...
So I have this reputation for being a coffee snob. I really am...
Earned.
I'm not a coffee snob because I don't care how anyone drinks their coffee.
Say all that.
Coffee snobs try to mandate how other people drink their coffee. You enjoy your coffee however you want to.
I'm not enjoying this.
What are you drinking? What's in your cup this morning?
This is the first, yesterday was the first time, but today is really the first time, I guess, on camera or whatever. This is the second time I've ever had black coffee.
Okay, so like just straight coffee, nothing in it.
Oh. There's Splenda in it.
Okay, so sweeten up a little bit.
Sweeten up a little bit.
Okay.
We're doing, me and my friend David over there, our engineer, are doing the intermittent fasting where stop eating at 9 o'clock, don't eat anything until 1. But I can have coffee. You can have black coffee, and Splenda doesn't have any calories, but the milk, the cream, all that stuff. It's crazy that literally, I think last week or the week before last, I was drinking creamer straight out of the bottle right here at this table. Right here at this table. Don't spit it.
That was almost disastrous.
Literally last week, drinking creamer right here at this table, and now drinking black coffee.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to try it again.
I like black coffee. I don't always choose black coffee, but I like black coffee, especially in the mornings or with dessert. Like if I'm eating like a nice slice of pecan pie. We're getting close to Thanksgiving. Nice slice of pecan pie or pumpkin pie. Cup of black coffee.
It sends a shiver up your spine. Is it something you like, or is it something you make yourself grow to like?
I did not like it initially.
So why do it?
Because I like it now.
But I mean, I'm saying, why was it important for you to learn to like it?
It wasn't, but the more I drank coffee, the more I wanted the coffee taste and the less I wanted the sweetness.
Some sweet.
Yeah.
I guess.
But I mean, I'm not anti-creamer. I'll drink coffee with creamer in it.
Yeah. I'll drink it the way I want after 1 o'clock. I just want to not have any calories until 1.
Well, I respect
And what time is it right now? At the time of recording, 11:42. Ain't that something?
You're close.
I'm close.
I respect your discipline, man. That's awesome.
Oh, I don't got much, but
what you do have is
what I do
exerted
have. Yeah,
here. I thought you were going to add something.
No,
at the end of that
no,
segment.
I was just going.
Okay,
I was
just trail off. All right.
Sorry, I'm scatterbrained because I've got a
Because the
horrible
coffee
taste in my mouth.
I understand. Well, we're excited about today's topic. We're going to be talking about charity. You know, as we're going further in the year, we're getting closer toward Thanksgiving, getting closer toward Christmas time. People are thinking about ways that they can not only just, shop for all the presents of the people in their family, but ways that they can give back. We talk about that a lot, especially around the holidays. The Bible has a lot to say about charity and how we care for the poor and the needy among us. And as we approach the Christmas season, we're going to be talking about this a lot more so that you guys can be a part of that. If you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, text us at 252-582-5028, or you can email us at contact@clearviewtodayshow.com. We're going to go grab Dr. Shah, and we'll be right back.
If you haven't already, be sure to check out Dr. Shah's book, Changing the Goalpost of New Testament Textual Criticism. Before the 1960s, the goal of New Testament textual criticism was singular, to retrieve the original text of the New Testament. Since then, the goalpost has incrementally shifted away from the original text to retrieving any text or many texts of the New Testament. Some scholars have even concluded that the original text is hopelessly lost and cannot be retrieved with any confidence or accuracy. If that's the case, how can we claim that the Bible is inerrant? To answer these questions, make sure you order a copy of Dr. Shah's book. That title again is Changing the Goalpost of New Testament Textual Criticism. You can pick up your copy on Amazon right now and let us know how it's helped you by emailing us at info@clearviewbc.org. You can also support our ministry here at Clearview by visiting us at clearviewbc.org/give. Thanks for listening. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or you can send us a text at 252-582-5028. We have Dr. Shah with us in the studio today. Dr. Shah, happy Monday to you. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very well. And this is coming up,
Fourth week. This is
Fourth
week 4.
week.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
looking
I
at
mean,
it.
we're closing in on a
Week 4
month.
run sheets. That's it.
It just seems like just yesterday we began this
I know.
radio show.
Yeah.
And it's coming up to a month now.
And that's like what? Almost 30 episodes.
Yeah.
This will start our, I think, 25th episode.
Yep.
If I'm counting right.
And the only
20th.
reason I can really, acknowledge that is because of people writing to us, talking about it, and appreciating the various episodes we've done so far. That I know this is real, and it's been a month. But if it wasn't for that, if people weren't writing to us and reaching out to us,
Right.
it may seem like a week.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. And just thank you for just kind of captaining this idea
Absolutely.
of having a daily show with daily content. I mean, that's something that could seem overwhelming to people, but we've hit the ground running, and you've helped us kind of craft this out and answer people and bring wisdom and scholarship to people right in the palm of their hands or on their radio. And I mean, just we're so thankful.
Thank you so much.
It's a beautiful thing. And if you guys watching or listening have never seen the show before, if this is your first episode and maybe you're feeling like, hey, maybe I want to write in and give these guys some encouragement. If you've never listened to the show, just want to introduce you to Dr. Shah. Dr. Shah is a PhD in New Testament textual criticism. He's a professor at Carolina University, author, full-time pastor, and host of today's show.
That's
Brought
right.
it back just for you. I didn't snap, though.
That's okay. I do like the snap, but it's okay.
Sometimes I miss.
If you don't work it in, that's
sometimes I flub the snap.
fine. It's just good for the radio.
That's right.
listeners.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, today we are talking about this idea of charity as we're headed toward, the Christmas season, as we're thinking about things like Operation Christmas Child, which that collection week is going on right now, by the way. If you haven't already packed those shoe boxes, you are quickly approaching the deadline. The deadline to drop those off is November the 21st. We're thinking about charity, simply as it means going out and helping the poor, helping the needy, helping those that are less fortunate. But I think Jesus had much more in mind than just going out and helping people. Is that fair to say that Jesus had
Yes.
more in mind?
Yes, he did, and he does, I should say. But at the same time, the idea of helping the poor, helping the needy, helping those who cannot, give us back or help us back, is a very genuinely Judeo-Christian idea, and it began even before the coming of Christ. Okay, so we're talking about the earthly ministry of Christ, but keep in mind, Jesus Christ, being the Son of God, is eternal. He didn't have a beginning.
Right.
It was not 2,000 years ago that Jesus began to exist. He's always been there. Of course, he became man and, came to give his life on the cross for us. But the idea of helping the needy was always there. If you go back to the Old Testament, I mean, the classic example would be the book of Ruth. When Ruth came back or came to Bethlehem with her mother-in-law Naomi. Remember, her family died. Ruth's husband died. Her brother-in-law died. I mean, all that. And then, there's only 2 daughter-in-laws, and Naomi left. And Naomi gave them the permission. She said, please go back and find somebody from Moab and marry and settle and do whatever you want to do, because I don't have any sons to offer to you. So Orpah went back, but Ruth clung to Naomi and came with her to Bethlehem, to Israel. And then it's time to find food.
Right.
But if you notice how that happens, she goes to glean some grain, and the way they would do it back in the time of of Israel, especially this period of the Judges, going into the time of the Kings, is the reapers would reap, but they were not supposed to reap very, how do I say this, like making sure every little stalk of grain is gathered. You have to leave some lying on the ground. You have to leave some on the field. It's almost like you're gleaning, but not as exactly.
Right.
So that's something that I didn't realize. So they were kind of expected to be sort of, I guess, sloppy.
A little
with it,
sloppy, yes.
leaving remnants out in the field.
Right.
But intentionally.
Intentionally.
For a purpose.
And it's for the poor. So they can come behind you and pick up what you dropped.
Right. It's like, oops, I accidentally helped the poor sort of thing.
Right.
But it's not really was it to save their pride, or was it just kind of the thing that was done so that they could come in later? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. No. Yeah, it was done intentionally.
Right.
But was it done to save their pride? I don't know.
I got you.
But I do know this much. Ruth goes into the field, and sure enough, there are other people there too. So this is not just an example of Ruth being blessed by someone's generosity. This is how the things were done.
Right.
That's a good point, because I guess in reading it, I always just kind of assumed that was unique to the story of Ruth. That there was Boaz and his kindness told his harvesters to kind of leave a little extra laying around.
Right.
But
Well, he did. Boaz did do that, but the system was already there of leaving a little extra on the ground. But then Boaz made it even more. He said, "Who is this woman?" And when he found out who she was and how she was, she had been kind to Naomi, to her mother-in-law, and Boaz was a distant relative of Naomi, that he said to his reapers, "Hey, leave extra on the ground.
Yeah.
Don't be so forceful."
yeah,
So the idea of helping the poor, it's not about counting every little penny and putting in your little piggy bank in your bank account and making sure you scrape it all up. That is not a biblical concept. Biblical concept is, yes, you need to be efficient. You need to manage your money well. You need to, keep a good account, but be generous.
Yeah.
If something falls out, just let it go.
Yeah.
Somebody's being blessed.
That kind of says two things to me. The first one is that all of those little rules and exceptions that God makes in the especially in the Old Testament, you see like, hey, I want you to do it this way. But then there's also this thing that you need to consider. All those things that we tend to read over really do have a purpose. And
Absolutely.
It's a thing that God is like, I'm setting this up to show my generosity and display my care for the others. The other is just kind of like what you said. It's demonstrated in this, like, don't be so stingy even when you're giving. Like we tend to think that I'm going to give this dollar amount and I'm going to go ahead and put that down in my budget, but I can still get to feel good because I technically contributed.
Right. And it's fine when people want to have, the tax deduction letters and all that. That's fine. We understand that. But don't be so overly particular that it's like, wow, is this really generosity? Are you like what Jesus said, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing? Did you know that? It's the same concept. I mean, my right hand knows what my left hand is doing, but what is being said here? It's all right. Let it go.
Just let it go.
And God was very particular about outsiders among his people and how they need to maintain their purity, don't follow after false gods. But if you notice many times, and we talked about this on the show before, if there's a foreigner in your land, somebody who's not from here, be kind to him.
Yeah.
Be gentle and generous to him. And then when you get into the New Testament, it's like the floodgates of generosity open up. Because Jesus talks about not just people like you or people who are, poor but nice, even poor but mean. Even those people who are hateful, those people who you are your sworn enemies, you help them too.
That's true.
A classic example is the Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
Jesus gave that story of the Good Samaritan, and Samaritans and Jewish people did not get along. And Samaritans had done a lot of things through the centuries to undermine God's people. But now it's the Samaritan who was good, taking care of a Jewish man when his own priests and Levites, made a wide circle around him.
Right.
The whole point is this. Jesus wants us not just to help the poor, but even help our enemies.
That's right.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
It really is, especially for Christians. Because I feel like there's so many things that we're willing to give up, like our time or our talents or, our dedication or whatever, because I'm going to get stuff back for all that.
Right.
But my money?
Or even, I'm even thinking like it makes me feel good to help other people. In a very selfish perspective, it makes me feel good to know that I've helped someone else. But helping someone that is my enemy, that doesn't make me feel good. I don't like doing that.
Yeah, no, because I don't get anything back from it.
Right.
I don't get anything back from it. It's like, you're right. I have felt that too, where like I'll give, but really that little pride tingling in the back, or that superiority of, look, I'm in such a great position where I can afford to give. Like, that's almost like its own sinful little reward. But now, like you said, helping my enemy, someone who's actively against me, and giving money, giving to them, or just giving my time to them, it's difficult. So difficult.
From my angle, I can see David nodding his head or shaking his head. What are you thinking about?
Turn your mic on, man.
Just thinking about people that don't deserve help, but especially you have told me, hey, make sure you help this person with this, or make sure you help this person with that. And in my head, I'm like, I don't want to help them, but it's like, yeah, that is the right thing to do. It's just funny. It's just funny
Showing
to think
mercy. And then if you look at the history of Christianity, what made Christians different? Of course, there have been generous, kind, loving, compassionate people throughout history who were not, how do I say this, Christians, believers. But as a whole, Christians were people who were going into places and helping those in need who were not friends, who were sworn enemies.
Right, right.
That's what made Christianity different. In other religions, it is you help the person because they're like you, and it'll come back to you. But in Christianity, is you help your enemy, even if they are against you or they want to hurt you.
Yeah, you may not ever see the blessings in this life.
Right.
Wow.
And so you see the concept of like a Red Cross or, all these orphanages throughout the world or, women's shelters. These are very clearly Christian concepts.
Right.
Christian concepts.
And I find it ironic because you won't hear that today. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's a great
know
point.
we're kind of past the election point now, and I don't want to make it too political, but I do believe that there's this campaign against making, or maybe there's this campaign to make the generosity or the compassion truly be on another side, a side that Christianity typically doesn't find itself on.
Well, there are people out there, like I said, who do things. There are orphanages put together by Muslims and Hindus. They're there, but I would go and bet my money on it. They were founded almost to copy and have a counter to the Christian efforts to help people.
But they won't acknowledge that.
They would acknowledge. Oh, definitely not, because to acknowledge that would be to say that we didn't come up with compassion.
Right.
So it is compassion, helping the poor, the needy, even your own enemy, is a very it's one of the core hearts or mindsets of a Christian.
This idea of helping the poor and helping those who are needy or less fortunate, even helping your enemies, typically comes up around Christmas time,
Yes,
or around
it
the
does.
holidays. Everyone kind of catches this vibe of,
Yeah.
I want to help other people. I want to give back, as people often say.
Right.
How do we, as believers, how do we carry this throughout the rest of the year?
I mean, it's a spirit of giving. People are not hurting just around Christmas time.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very true.
You know, they're hurting throughout the year.
You just happen to see it more because you're out there on the streets going and
Right.
buying your presents and stuff.
Those Christmas music really,
Yeah.
you know, it strikes a chord in your heart.
You be thinking about the Christmas shoes.
Or a Christmas story, right? Yeah. So, but throughout the year, if you take the time to notice what people are going through, they're hurting, they're sick, they don't have money, they don't have shoes, they don't have clothes to go to school. There are elderly who are, you know, they don't have any electricity, or they don't have air conditioner or heat or anything, basic good mattress. We've helped people in this community who did not have a mattress.
Yeah. Wow.
Gosh,
So-
that's something you take for granted, too.
You really do, man. All these
Wow.
things that we have that are just part of our day-to-day life, you don't really realize how precious they are until you see someone who doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's easy to assume that someone somewhere is going to take care of them, and that is not the case, folks.
Right.
If you're coming across that situation, and if something is going on in your head, is because God has put you there. Now, there may be that once you find out that you realize there's like 3 other families are helping the situation, or a church has adopted that neighborhood, or, you know, whatever, and that may happen. But still, why is it, you know, rumbling around in your head? Why did you come across that situation, or that announcement, or that flyer, or that email, or that text message, or that or some announcement in church? It's because God wants you to get involved and help somebody.
Yeah, and not talk yourself out of it. That's something I've seen. I mean, that's something that's even happened to me. Is you just end up talking yourself out of stuff. Like, well, I don't know what they're going to do with that money. I don't know what they're going to do with it. And I always think
Yeah.
back to like, you know, Jesus saying, you know, if you do this for the least of these, you're doing it to me,
That's
or you're
right.
doing it for me.
Exactly. I mean, there's a whole section in the Bible on, you know, people telling Jesus one day, you know, we've done nothing for you. And he says, no, when I was in prison, you came to see me. When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me some drink. When I was naked, you clothed me. And they were like, when did we do that? When did we visit you in prison? When you did it to the least of these,
Right.
you were doing it unto me.
That's right.
So when you see people who are hurting, don't immediately think politics or religion, or what side of the tracks they come from. Just as the Lord lays on your heart, go help them. Now, of course, be safe. Ladies, be safe. We're not going to ever tell you go out there and just be opening your purse and handing out money. I mean,
Right,
that's,
right.
that's a
Yeah.
recipe for disaster. So be cautious, be discerning. Having said that, Christians, and never lose the aspect of compassion and mercy.
That's right.
Let's never lose that.
That's exactly right.
So important. So important. Man, what a great discussion for today. If you guys enjoyed today's topic, or you have suggestions for future topics, let us know by sending us a text at 252-582-5028. And you can also visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. And don't forget that at that same website, clearviewtodayshow.com, you can support us financially. There's a button there to donate, and every gift goes to build this partnership to reach many people, make an impact for the kingdom of God.
That's right. We're so grateful for your partnership. And just like we're talking about all this charity and this giving, it's not necessarily just about giving and helping, but also about contributing, just contributing to the kingdom of God being spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. John, as we close today, do you have any last minute advice for our listeners?
I'm very ashamed of this one. I'm
Oh,
very
no.
ashamed. This was
Oh, no.
this was recommended to me by one of our drummers here at Clearview Church.
Okay. All right.
He's not in this room,
Okay.
but he's our other drummer. I guess I could say his name. It was recommended to me by Jackson Meeks.
Okay.
Peanut butter and jelly on a tortilla. On a tortilla.
Wait a
It
minute.
sounds disgusting. disgusting.
It does sound disgusting.
but it's
think-
pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it is disgusting.
He told me
Peanut butter
that
and
years
jelly
ago,
on a
dude.
tortilla.
Just take you a nice
Can I-
soft flour tortilla, peanut butter and jelly on it, wrap it up. It's pretty.
Oh,
good.
okay. So it's not the soft. It's not the hard
No,
one.
no. Just a soft tortilla.
Oh, I can go for that.
yeah.
Can I tell you a funny story
Yeah,
about
sure.
that?
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I remember this vividly at
Sorry,
VBS.
I'm imagining Pastor Sean crunching into a hard, crunchy tortilla.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, that's
just
horrible.
globs of peanut butter and jelly in there.
Licked my teeth hard.
When I was a kid, one of the snacks we had at VBS when I was like maybe 3rd, 4th grade was peanut butter and jelly pinwheels on a tortilla. And I was like,
Wow.
okay, well that's kind of a cool,
Yeah.
like, interesting way. Except they didn't use flour tortillas.
Oh, no, tell me they didn't use corn tortillas for peanut butter
and it
jelly,
was
dude.
horrible.
Oh, yeah,
It
that's what I was
tasted
thinking. I was like,
Disgusting.
no way.
Disgusting.
No way.
So as soon as you said that, like I was transported back to my childhood and just a shudder
Try
right down
one
my
of the
spine.
carb counters, man. They're 45 calories, a nice little scoop of peanut butter. That's a fun snack.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I can get behind
Try
that.
it. Try it at the house.
Let us know if you try it. We want to see your pictures. Text those pictures into 252-582-5028. We love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow on Clearview Today.